We had been together for 6 years, yet his welcome back party for his first love overshadowed my own birthday celebration. This time, my family was all there for my birthday. I had let them down. My family introduced me to someone, which was essentially an arranged marriage. Later, I became my ex-boyfriend's aunt. On the day of the wedding, my ex-boyfriend froze when he saw me walking down the aisle. Before we continue, please subscribe to this channel and let us know in the comments where you're listening from. It was past 1 in the morning when Leo returned. He gently lifted the corner of the duvet, waking me from my dreams. His voice was soft and full of apology. "I'm sorry, honey, I'm late. Look what surprise I brought you." I glanced over casually. It was a very expensive handbag. He presented it to me like a treasure, his face full of expectation. "This is for your birthday." I watched him coldly, displeasure evident in my tone. "My birthday has passed. Besides, I already have this bag. I was wearing it when we went to the movies a few days ago." He froze at my words, then knelt on the bed, lowering his head in apology. "I was wrong, honey. I'll go buy you another one." In the past, when he apologized like this, I would always gently stroke his hair and forgive him. But today, I didn't move an inch. Leo looked up in surprise, cautiously probing. "Are you mad because I didn't come to your birthday party today? I told you I had an unavoidable work engagement, didn't I? I'll spend time with you alone tomorrow, okay?" As he spoke, he tried to lean in to kiss me, but the image of him being lovey-dovey with Tiffany flashed in my mind. A wave of nausea swept over me, and I violently pushed him away. "Leo, you promised to make our relationship public at my birthday party today." I glared at him furiously. A flicker of shock crossed his face, but he quickly regained his composure. After a brief moment of panic, he cupped my face and said earnestly, "Honey, think about it carefully. How much pressure would we face if we went public? They would definitely push us to get married. Do you really want to get married so early? Or is Ms. Grace afraid I'll run off?" Without another word, he pulled me tightly into his embrace. His hand began to roam over my body, and his heavy breathing echoed in my ear. Just as I was about to tell him to leave, his phone suddenly vibrated. I caught a glimpse of the incoming call on the screen. No name, just 3 conspicuous red hearts. I didn't need to think to know who it was. Seeing this, Leo immediately got up, avoiding my gaze as he went out to the balcony to answer the call. His expression as he talked on the phone was full of tender affection, as if the person on the other end was the apple of his eye. I watched him, seeing a side of him I had never witnessed, and my heart slowly turned to ice. When he returned, he said gravely, "Something urgent came up at the company. I need to go deal with it. You be a good girl and go to sleep. Don't wait up for me." I stared at him expressionlessly, then coldly uttered a single sentence, "Leo, if you dare to go, we're over." He paused, his brows furrowing in displeasure. "Haven't you made enough fuss? This really is urgent." Watching his hurried departure, I could no longer hold back my tears. They streamed down my face. I picked up my phone and opened the video I had been too afraid to face. Actually, my friend had sent me 2 videos just now, but I only watched the first one and then lost the courage to open the second. Now, however, nothing mattered anymore. In the video was the familiar group of 7. I had been absent that day. In the footage, someone asked, "Leo, Tiffany is coming back soon. How are you going to handle things with Grace?" I gasped, covering my mouth in shock. So they had all known about my relationship with Leo the whole time, but had tacitly chosen to ignore it. Leo exhaled a puff of smoke, his voice cool as he replied, "What do you mean, handle? Aren't we all just good buddies?" Everyone burst into laughter, echoing, "For our Leo, Grace doesn't count for anything at all. After all, she's just a foster daughter, adopted by the Sue family. How could she possibly be worthy of our Leo?" Tears rolled down my face like broken pearls. I had never imagined they saw me this way. I remembered the birthday party earlier. When my mom saw my eyes redden, she immediately pulled me into a tight hug. "Silly child, why are you crying? If you don't want the arranged marriage, don't force yourself." Before, they had always brought up the arranged marriage, but because of Leo, I always found excuses to refuse. When I suddenly agreed today, they thought I was forcing myself. My brother also looked at me with worry. He had previously suggested I meet the arranged marriage candidate, but I told him I already had a boyfriend and promised to bring him to the birthday party. However, Leo never showed up. My brother's expression showed he had already guessed part of the truth. He patted my shoulder and comforted me. "Don't be impulsive. Think it over carefully. They're not in a hurry." I naturally had to repay their kindness in raising me. Moreover, I knew deep down that my parents and brother always had my best interests at heart. Now, I had nothing left to fear. Wiping away my tears, I called my brother. Brother, I've thought it over. I agree to the arranged marriage. Leo returned the next day. I was busy packing my things. He hugged me tightly from behind, whispering in my ear, "Honey, I brought you your favorite pastries and oatmeal from that place." However, a strong, unfamiliar fruity floral scent instantly assailed me, filling me with revulsion. I violently pushed him away, my gaze falling on the faint hickey visible on his neck. Noticing my gaze, he nervously tugged at his collar, awkwardly saying, "I'll go take a shower first. You hurry up and eat while it's warm." The sound of running water filled the bathroom. At the same time, my text notification rang. I picked up my phone and saw a message from Tiffany, who had just been added to the group chat of 7. She posted a photo showing a table of exquisite dishes by a large floor-to-ceiling window. Her caption read, "Just got back to the country, still not quite used to oatmeal." Leo searched all over the city and took me to the best restaurant with a view. "The food and the scenery are amazing. Everyone should come sometime, my treat." Someone quickly responded below, "Wow, you guys went to such a nice place and didn't invite us? That's so rude. They're a couple on a date, why would you crash it? Don't be a third wheel," another person teased. Tiffany sent a blushing emoji, replying, "No, you guys, don't say that." I silently looked at the broken pastries and cold oatmeal on the table, a mix of emotions swirling in my heart. Then, I placed them by the door, intending for Leo to take them with him. Leo came out of the shower and saw the group chat history. A flicker of panic crossed his face. He quickly tried to explain, "Tiffany just got back and isn't familiar with the area. I was just showing her around." I responded coldly, "You don't need to explain to me. And remember to take those pastries and oatmeal when you leave." He finally noticed I was packing my luggage. He walked over to me, frowning as he asked, "Are you going on a business trip?" I shook my head. "No, I'm going home." "Leo, you don't need to come here anymore. I've canceled the lease on this apartment." Before, Leo didn't want us living together. He said his mother sometimes visited his place, and he was afraid of being discovered. To be with him often, I moved out of my family home and rented an apartment close to him. But just this morning, I had informed the landlord that I was moving out. After hearing my words, he suddenly lost his temper and kicked my suitcase. "Grace, are you serious? Is this how you want to make a scene with me?" I looked at him calmly. "I'm not making a scene. I'm telling you my decision." "Fine, whatever you want." He stormed to the door, saw the pastries and oatmeal I had left there, and picked them up in a fit of pique, throwing them into the trash can. "Don't you dare regret this." Aunt called, asking when I would be coming over. I'm a doll designer, and Aunt was very interested in making plush toys, so she hired me as her private tutor for 2 hours a week. I figured I wouldn't be going there anymore after today. So, I still needed to go this one last time to finish the final lesson properly with her. But I hadn't expected Leo and Tiffany to be there too. Tiffany greeted me with a smile. "Grace, you're here. I was just telling Leo that we should pick you up, but he said there was no need. He doesn't know how to be a gentleman at all." Leo still seemed to be upset. He merely glanced at me and said indifferently, "She's no delicate flower, she's just one of the guys." Tiffany covered her mouth and laughed. "I get it. Is she like a girl buddy as they say? What about me then?" Leo looked at her, his expression serious. "Of course you're not. You're a goddess. You're terrible." Tiffany laughed and playfully hit him. I couldn't be bothered watching them being lovey-dovey and went straight upstairs to find Aunt. After the lesson, I told her that I would be very busy in the coming days and probably wouldn't be able to come anymore. Aunt looked regretful and gave me her first finished plush toy. She held my hand and led me downstairs, looking at Leo with an expression of disappointment. "You're Sarah and I originally wanted to set you and Grace up, but who knew you'd be such a blockhead, always just arguing with me." Leo jumped up from beside Tiffany, shouting, "Just give up hope. I'd marry a dog before I'd marry Grace." A dog was the name of Aunt's pet dog. Leo loved to perform his act of being arch rivals with me in front of his parents. Before, I would play along and bicker with him. But now, I had no interest whatsoever. And there was no need to play along anymore. Seeing that I didn't respond, Leo paused in surprise. It was Aunt who pointed at him and scolded, "You brat. Maybe doesn't even want you." As if intentionally trying to provoke me, Leo stared at me and said word by word, "Doesn't want me? You ask her. As a foster daughter of the Sioux family, what right does she have to look down on me?" Slap. Aunt slapped him across the face. I was anxious to leave, deciding to end this farce. I took Aunt's hand and comforted her. "Aunt, Leo truly isn't my type. Besides, he already has someone he likes. Please don't bring this up again. I thought Leo would be happy to hear me say that. But when I looked up, I met his furious gaze. His face was ashen, and he stared intently at me. Tiffany came up and hooked her arm through his. Leo, don't be mad at Aunt. It's such a small thing. You still have to go to the amusement park with me tomorrow. Or, should we invite Grace to come along? At suggestion, Leo's furious gaze disappeared, replaced by a look of guilt. For 6 years, I had asked him countless times to go to an amusement park together, but he always used being busy as an excuse to put it off. Now I knew that I simply wasn't the person he wanted to go with. A smile touched my lips. No thanks, you two go. I don't like being a third wheel. With that, I didn't look at them again and turned to leave. Today was the day set to meet the arranged marriage candidate. It wouldn't do to be late. The moment I saw the arranged marriage candidate, I froze. I knew this person. It was Leo's uncle, Marcus. My brother smiled and waved at me. Why are you just standing there? Come sit down. After I sat down, my brother chatted briefly before making an excuse to leave, leaving me sitting uncomfortably opposite Marcus. He was Grandpa's youngest child, and although only 3 years older than Leo, he appeared much more mature and stable. At this moment, I only felt regret. I should have asked more questions beforehand. The dishes hadn't even all arrived when I bravely confessed everything about Leo and me. I'm truly sorry, Mr. Marcus. I should have clarified things with my brother. You can absolutely refuse this marriage. I will explain everything to my family myself and will not let you be troubled. He slowly peeled a shrimp and placed it in my bowl, then smiled and countered, why should I refuse? But my relationship with your nephew. I know about that. I looked up at him in shock. Perhaps my expression was too stunned, as he looked at me with a hint of amusement. It's precisely because I knew that I waited so long. But now, I don't want to wait anymore. So, Grace, since you've already agreed, don't go back on your word. Everything was settled. I packed my belongings and had them shipped home. After moving out, I suddenly remembered I had some things at Leo's place that I absolutely had to get back. Leo's home had changed a lot. There were many things that didn't belong to him. I recalled how, whenever I left, Leo would remind me if I had left anything behind. He never let me keep personal items at his place, saying he was afraid his mother would find them. But now, looking at the extra pink throw pillow in the living room and the pink toothbrush in the bathroom, and the used condoms in the trash can, I gave a self-deprecating smile. My phone received a message from Leo. Are you up? What do you want to eat? I'll bring it over. This was Leo's signal to make peace. Whenever we argued, and he sent this message, I would always give him a way to reconcile. But now, I couldn't be bothered. Tiffany, wearing a cool pink slip dress, stood in front of me with her arms crossed. I'm here to pick up a few things, then I'll leave. I pushed past her and walked into Leo's bedroom. Men's and women's clothes were scattered everywhere. The messy bed and the lingering stale smell clearly indicated what had happened last night. On the floor, I found the unique plush toy. It was the only thing I had left at Leo's place. I had spent a long time designing and handcrafting it. I wanted it to stay in this house and keep Leo company for me. Now it seemed he no longer needed it. I picked up the plush toy, intending to leave. But just as I reached the living room, Tiffany rushed forward and snatched the toy from me. What are you doing? Leo gave this to me. Excuse me, this is my design prototype. I need to take it back. I tried to grab it back, but she held on to the toy tightly. In the struggle, the toy ripped in half. Tiffany also fell to the floor. Leo sent another message. I bought you some food. I'll bring it over later. You didn't like the last bag, check this one out. He sent a picture. At the same time, the living room door opened, and Leo walked in carrying a pile of things. The moment he saw me, his face went pale. Why are you here? Then he quickly explained, listen to me. Tiffany hasn't found an apartment yet, she's just staying here for a few days. But then he saw Tiffany fallen on the floor. He dropped the bags in his hand and rushed over, taking 2 steps at a time, to help her up and check her scrapes. Leo, it's okay. That plush toy was a gift from you. I just wanted Grace to leave it for me. Leo angrily looked up and glared at me. Grace, are you serious about a broken plush toy? I looked at him coldly. Yes, I am. And also, don't text me anymore. We broke up on my birthday. He paused for a moment at my cold expression, but then, his lips unconsciously curled into a smile. Fine, then. Who cares? I left, holding the broken plush toy, without looking back. Back in my warm home, my mom had prepared a table full of my favorite dishes, waiting for me. My dad asked about my work, telling me not to overwork myself. My brother kept telling me funny stories about Marcus. Everything felt like it was 6 years ago again, before I decided to be independent and move out. Marcus seemed afraid I would change my mind, so the wedding preparations were incredibly fast, yet it also felt like he had been preparing for a long time. Even as I stood on the red carpet, everything still felt surreal. As the entrance music began, I slowly walked down the aisle with my father, towards Marcus, who was waiting there. Marcus respected all my preferences. This was the wedding scene of my dreams. For this arranged marriage, he gave me a lot of confidence. When I reached the middle, the train of my wedding dress was violently yanked. I turned around to see Leo standing below the stage, his eyes blazing, refusing to let go. He said, "Grace, stop making a scene. Come down." I tugged at the train, but it wouldn't budge. Fortunately, Marcus had already noticed something was wrong and signaled to a security guard. And even rushed up and twisted Leo's ear. "What's gotten into you again, you brat? It's one thing to act up usually, but today is Grace and your uncle's big day. Get back to your seat." I hadn't deliberately talked about my marriage to Marcus. Marcus was a celebrity entrepreneur with many fans. He was afraid of causing me trouble and had always protected me very well. So, even within the family, they only knew he was getting married but not to whom. Aunt was a little surprised to see it was me, but she quickly understood. The Ensu families are old acquaintances, and Marcus is good friends with my brother. If there was to be an arranged marriage, it was indeed the most suitable match. In the lounge, she just held my hand and lamented that her good-for-nothing son didn't have the good fortune. The security guard pried Leo's fingers off one by one. He shouted unwillingly, "Grace, you can't do this." I haven't agreed to break up. The security guard quickly covered his mouth and dragged him out. He couldn't attend the rest of my wedding with his uncle. My situation with Leo eventually became known to both sides of our families, because after Leo was confined to the lounge, he made a huge scene, smashing everything inside. He yelled that he didn't agree to the marriage, claiming I was marrying his uncle just to spite him. He was the Vance family's eldest grandson, used to getting his way in everything since childhood. It was the first time he had ever thrown such a temper. I hadn't expected Leo to react so strongly. After all, his long-awaited first love had returned, and I, the ex-girlfriend who had to be kept a secret, had completely exited his life. No clinging, no crying. For him, it should have been a good thing. So what was he making a fuss about now? The wedding was already grand, and with Leo's outburst, rumors started spreading. It concerned the reputation of both the Sue and Vance families. If not handled well, it would inevitably cast a shadow over this arranged marriage. The elders wanted an explanation. On the way to the estate, Marcus squeezed my hand. "Don't worry. This is nothing major. I'll handle everything later." His warm, large hand completely enveloped mine, making me feel very secure. But this was, after all, trouble that Leo and I had caused. "Do you trust me? I can handle him." The estate was brightly lit, and everyone was there. Leo's eyes reddened when he saw me. He rushed forward, trying to pull me to his side, but Marcus blocked him. "Leo, she is my wife now, your aunt." I don't know which word triggered him, but he suddenly grabbed Marcus's collar and roared, "I don't agree. Grace is my girlfriend. Why should she marry you?" "Enough." Grandpa's cane thumped heavily on the floor. He looked at me and asked in a deep voice, "Grace, tell us, what's going on? Is what he's saying true?" I answered without changing my expression, "No, Leo and I have always been arch rivals. I don't like him at all." Leo's face was filled with shock. "Grace, we've been together for 6 years, and we were just about to go public and talk about marriage. How can you deny it?" My brother frowned after hearing this. "Don't talk nonsense. I often saw you arguing and teasing my sister, bullying her. Now you say you've been together for 6 years? Not just my brother, but even my parents and Leo's parents had witnessed this. Privately, when it was just the two of us, he would call me honey. But in front of our elders, he was keen on playing the role of my arch-rival. Now, that boomerang had finally come back to hit him. I spoke coldly, "Leo, I know that all along. Because of my foster daughter status, you looked down on me and thought I wasn't good enough for your uncle, so you wanted to ruin this arranged marriage. But this is a matter between two families. I hope you won't cause any more trouble." Leo's expression immediately turned ashen. He mumbled, "Grace, what are you saying? How can you do this to me? If it's because of Tiffany, I apologize to you. I just wanted to make up for a regret from my youth. But now, I truly only have you in my heart." And probably also found Leo's behavior absurd at this point. She slapped Leo on the head. You brat, you used to find fault with Grace in front of us all the time. Now what kind of nonsense are you talking? Leo roared, none of that was true. This is all your fault. I just didn't want to go along with what you wanted. I was afraid that as soon as I went public with Grace, I'd be pressured to marry, so I deliberately pretended to be arch rivals with her. You're also responsible for creating this situation today. Uncle was so angry he went up and slapped him twice. You ungrateful child. No matter what, today is your uncle's wedding. How can you make such a scene? Have you thought about the shame you're bringing upon the Vance family? Go apologize to your uncle. No. He stole my girlfriend. Why should I apologize? Marcus rolled up his sleeves, ready to go deal with his nephew. I quickly pulled him back and looked at Leo. You insist we were together, so what evidence do you have? Leo paused. Evidence? I have some, he said, anxiously fumbling for his phone. But then, the hand holding the phone dropped. I knew what he was looking for, our text messages, but he had already deleted them, that was his habit. Besides that, he had nothing on him that could prove we had been together. 6 years of a relationship, photos we took together, places we visited, things we did, gifts we exchanged, all memories and items were kept by me. They had long been burned or thrown away, completely erased. I saw despair on Leo's face for the first time. He said, Grace, how could you do this to me? Actually, the truth no longer mattered. Stopping the rumors was paramount. Grandpa wanted an explanation. The explanation I gave was that Leo and I had never been together. He was simply unhappy that his most despised arch-rival was marrying into the Vance family and wanted to ruin the wedding. Compared to the narrative of the Vance uncle and nephew fighting over the same woman, and the nephew causing a huge scene at the uncle's wedding, it was clearly more effective in diffusing the public crisis to say that the young Mr. Vance was just playing a joke with his arch-rival at his uncle's wedding. However, that wasn't enough. Additionally, I have proof that Leo has a girlfriend. I took out my phone and found the group of 7. Leo seemed to know what I was about to do and anxiously tried to stop me. Grace, don't post, but before he could finish, Marcus pulled him away. Leo had been taking Tiffany sightseeing and trying different foods during this period, and they had taken many intimate photos together. The group chat of 7 was full of Tiffany's show-off posts. I then clicked into Tiffany's social media post. There were many eye-catching photos there, and the background clearly showed they were at Leo's home. After showing them, the group chat of 7 was of no use to me anymore, so I exited the group directly. Leo's face turned ashen. Aunt angrily hit Leo on the head again. You good-for-nothing rat. The situation was now clear. Grandpa immediately instructed his secretary's office to draft a public announcement, explaining that it was merely a prank between Leo and his childhood friend. Leo still tried to argue, but Uncle clapped a hand over his mouth. If you cause any more trouble, you can go to a remote outpost for a few years of training before coming back. He finally fell silent. When I returned to our new house, it was already past midnight. The new house was empty. Marcus said we could slowly furnish it together in the future. I know you like collecting dolls. This room can be dedicated to them. I noticed a childhood photo of him and me on the table. In the photo, I was small and thin, holding a large bouquet of sunflowers. Marcus, a head taller than me, stood behind me, smiling with his lips pressed together. My brother had told me that a few years ago, he accidentally saw this photo in Marcus's wallet and realized that Marcus had feelings for me. Seeing this photo, I couldn't help but remember my childhood. When my parents brought me back to the Sioux family, I was already 5 years old. All the children my age in our circle knew my identity. They often made fun of me, saying I was a foster daughter picked up by my parents, an unwanted wild child. Some would even throw things at me. Whenever saw it, he would step forward and beat them up for me. At that time, in my heart, he was another older brother. Later, on his last Children's Day, he came to find me and had our parents take this picture of us. My memories of him after that were blurry. In high school, he went abroad and rarely returned. I couldn't help but ask him how he knew about Leo and me. After all, I was confident I had hidden it well, and Leo had always been proud of that. What's more, Marcus wasn't even in the country then. Marcus smiled. Do you remember the winter break of your sophomore year? You invited some classmates, your brother, and me to go skiing. At his words, I suddenly remembered. At that time, my brother asked me if I wanted to go skiing at a resort. Tiffany had just gone abroad not long before, and Leo had become very despondent. To cheer him up, I invited him and 2 other classmates to come along. When we arrived at the ski resort, we discovered Marcus was there too. Marcus's expression seemed a bit unnatural when he saw me. Leo was even more surprised and asked, "Uncle, what are you doing here?" That day, we had a lot of fun. Later, Leo and I skied further and further away, eventually laughing and falling into the snow. He suddenly rolled over and kissed me. I heard someone ski past and pushed him away in a panic. But when I looked around, there was no one there. I had always thought it was just my imagination, triggered by how nervous I was at the time. Now it seemed Marcus had seen it. It was also on that day that Leo and I officially started dating. Marcus gave a wry smile. That day, I was actually planning to confess to you. Looking at the photo in my hand, I understood. It turned out that day I had unknowingly taken a wrong turn, and that path lasted for 6 years. Marcus gave me the master bedroom, and he went to the guest room. He said, "I've waited for you to come to me. Now, I'll continue to wait until the day you open your heart to me." Life after marriage was no different from before. With a lot of work piled up from the wedding preparations, Marcus and I decided to postpone our honeymoon. But unexpectedly, when I arrived at my studio this day, I saw the group of 7 waiting there. Previously, this quiet 2-story building served not only as my studio but also as their gathering place. I hadn't changed the password yet, so in the past, they would have just walked in without a second thought. But now, they were all standing outside, looking awkward as they faced me. "Grace, why did you leave the group chat? We've been friends for so many years, our bond is still there, you can't just leave like that." Exa. CTLY, Grace. We might have said some wrong things at the gatherings before, but don't take it to heart. Sometimes we just talk without thinking. We actually guessed a little about you and Leo's situation, but since you didn't say anything, we didn't feel it was right to ask. Later, when Tiffany came, I thought you two had broken up, that's why I said the wrong things. Yes, it's all our fault. Please make up with Leo. You don't know what kind of life he's been living lately. I've never seen him sober. Grace, you need to talk some sense into him. This can't go on. They chattered on, surrounding me. And behind them, I saw Leo. He was leaning against a plane tree, his head bowed, looking unsteady on his feet. "Move aside. Don't pressure Grace." He staggered and pushed his friends away, then dropped to his knees in front of me with a thud. A strong smell of alcohol made me want to vomit. I took 2 steps back. "Leo, you're drunk. Go home." "No. Grace, if you don't forgive me, I won't leave," he said, pulling out his phone, opening the group chat of 7, and holding it up to me. "Look, I've kicked Tiffany out. She's not living with me anymore either. So, please come back, okay? Leo, have you forgotten? We were never together." His eyes instantly reddened. "Grace, honestly, do you believe that yourself? Were all those things we experienced together fake?" I said blandly, "Does it matter if it's real or fake? It's all in the past anyway. Grace, please, come back, okay?" He bowed his head, taking a blue velvet box from his pocket. He opened it, revealing the pink diamond ring Tiffany had worn. "I bought this ring before, planning to propose to you with it. I just wasn't ready yet. Now, I know I was wrong. I promise I'll never make you angry again. It will only be you. Will you come back to me, okay?" He stretched his head towards me, wanting me to stroke it. In the past, when we argued, this was his usual gesture to make amends. Every time I stroked his head, meant I forgave him, but now, I just wanted to get around him and leave quickly. I don't like using things others have used. You should keep this ring for Tiffany. It looks quite good on her. Leo looked up at me in shock. You knew?" He knelt forward a few steps, desperately trying to explain. "I just lent it to her to try on. Just that once. I was coming back right after that. It doesn't matter, Leo. I don't care anymore." I walked around him, intending to leave, but he recklessly grabbed my legs. Marcus, who had just bought me breakfast and was bringing it over, witnessed this scene. He fiercely kicked Leo away. "I put up with you for too long. If it weren't for your brother, I would have sorted you out a long time ago. I'm warning you, stay away from my wife." Leo's eyes were bloodshot. "What, your wife? You haven't even registered your marriage yet. You're not legally husband and wife. Do you know why Grace hasn't registered your marriage? Because she still has feelings for me. You're just a tool for her to make me angry. What's wrong with me trying to win back my girlfriend?" Marcus froze for a moment, looking at me uneasily. This guy, he was so flustered that he fell for Leo's trap. It was true that we hadn't registered our marriage yet. He had said that while he set the wedding date, the date for registration was up to me. He told me to set a date and inform him, and he would be available anytime. The reason I hadn't suggested a date yet was not because of Leo at all. It was because I wanted to finish my accumulated work and then choose an auspicious day to go together. I looked at Leo coldly. Don't flatter yourself. When we register our marriage is none of your concern. Leo, I'm telling you this one last time, I'm no longer interested in you, and I've already married your uncle. Please don't come looking for me again. With that, I hooked my arm through Marcus's and headed towards the studio. Marcus came to his senses. He looked at M. Y arm linked with his, a look of pleasant surprise on his face. As if afraid no one would hear him, he said loudly, "Wife, I bought some Danish pastry and mini quiches. Let's go in and eat them while they're still warm." I held back a laugh. When I reached the studio door, I noticed the people who had come with Leo still hadn't left. They were probably stunned by the scene playing out before them and didn't know what to do. So I showed them the way. From now on, let's go our separate ways. Don't bring this drunkard here again, or I'll call the police. With a mocking smile, I added, after all, I'm just a foster daughter. I'm not really suitable to be friends with any of you. After that, Leo never came looking for me again. While busy with work, I also made time to go home improvement shopping with Marcus. We picked out furniture and household goods together. Little by little, we filled our empty new house. After our careful arrangement, the place finally felt like a home. That day was Marcus's birthday. He called me beforehand to say he had a work dinner and might be home very late, telling me not to wait for him for dinner. I thought about it and decided to bake a small cake, waiting for him to return. The moment he opened the door, I stood before him holding the cake and sang him happy. His face filled with surprise, and he leaned down to kiss me. Then, as if remembering something, he looked at me and cautiously asked, "Is this okay?" Without hesitation, I pressed my lips against his. Of course. The kiss was long and passionate, and soon, things escalated uncontrollably. After finishing up the work I had on hand, I started flipping through the calendar, planning to pick a good day. It was then that Aunt's call came in. Her voice sounded weak and weary. "Grace, can I see you, dear?" After meeting Aunt at the agreed-upon location, I learned that Leo had gotten into trouble. It turned out Tiffany had already gotten married abroad to get a green card. She had married a middle-aged man who was divorced with children. But not long after, she was taken to the police station for investigation on suspicion of child abuse. Later, to avoid imprisonment, she fled back to the country. But her husband came looking for her. Just yesterday, he found Leo's house, stabbed him, and then took Tiffany away. The doctor said he was likely in critical condition. Aunt was sobbing uncontrollably. "Grace, he wants to see you. He might have done wrong in the past, but for the sake of your shared childhood, please go see him." When I went to the hospital, I almost didn't recognize Leo. The once vibrant man now had sunken eyes and was skin and bones. Alcoholism and this injury had utterly destroyed him. When he saw me, a tear rolled down his cheek, and he spoke with difficulty. Looking back now, I was incredibly wrong. "Grace, I thought you'd always stay by my side, that you'd never leave me. That's why I was so reckless. I'm sorry for hurting you before." Seeing him in such a state, I didn't know what to say, so I could only offer comfort. "It's all in the past now. I don't remember it anymore. Just focus on your recovery." He managed a weak smile. "Even the way you talk to me now is so polite. Don't worry, I won't bother you again. Grace, I wish you happiness." Walking out of the hospital room, Marcus had just finished talking with the doctor. The doctor said he sustained nerve damage. Even if he gets past this critical period, it's unlikely he'll ever walk again. I'll contact some experts abroad and ask for their opinion. I walked out of the hospital, my arm linked with Marcus's. Outside, the sky was clear and bright. Perfect day. "Let's go." "Where to?" "To get our marriage certificate." "Now?" "Yes." "Okay." Because I never knew whether tomorrow or an accident would come first, I decided to do important things in the present. "Did you check the calendar? Is today a good day?" "No need to check the calendar. If I say it is, then it is." Thank you for watching today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments. Feel free to share your perspectives, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.